and most recently for our troops at Fort Bliss. So please put your hands together, give a warm welcome to my very funny friend, Mr. Danny.
I know what you're thinking. Had to get the guy from Mythbusters to come to Hillside Church. She's looking at me like, how did they get Paul Giamatti from Sideways to come to Hillside Church? This lady's glasses are really thick. She's looking at me and going, how did they get Brad Pitt to come do comedy at Hillside Church? They're paying me. That's how. I just bought a Prius. Oh, we know how to pinpoint a Republican. Now I don't buy gas, I just tell everybody my battery's dead. Then I ask for a jump, and I go another 40 miles. I'm going on a tour of America with nothing but jumper cables. Me and my wife have a Prius. It was before we met. See, it was a Prius. Some of you guys aren't going to get this stuff till the ride home. Ford's just come out with a new Aerostar. Have you seen this one? The Aerostar van? It's got a painting of Starry, Starry Night down the side of it. When people see it, they go, hey, look at that van go. Well, there's some art students in here. Very nice. You got an ear for it. It was really cool. I don't know if, I can't function without my GPS anymore. I really can't. I am, especially on the road, I travel all over America, this great country, and if I didn't have my GPS, I wouldn't know how to take my trash out to the corner anymore. That's how dependent on my GPS I've become, and then I have to hit home to find my front door again. You know how it is. But the Prius, the GPS that came with that one, they have something brand new that they're doing. They're voicing them with, like, megastars. They're now providing the voices for GPS. Mine is voiced by Bono of U2. It's really hard to use because the streets have no names. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Ended up running into a Joshua tree. It was a Sunday, bloody Sunday. At this point, I have to apologize. Sir, I realize you didn't get any of those jokes. Thank you. Okay. So, I don't have any references to, like, Lawrence Welk. So, I got tiny bubbles. That's all I got. What's your name? Herb. Herb. That's my dad's name. You look exactly like him. Spitting image. There is a woman in love. Good for you, ma'am. Good for you. This is the first time I've got to go on tour with Cliff. Let's give it up for Cliff one more time. And I was in the back room going, I have to follow this. So I would like to thank Cliff for inviting me out here. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for the wonderful dinner that you noticed I did not eat. And I had to explain this to Cliff on the way up here. By the way, when I first met Cliff, I introduced him on stage like this. Let's give it up for Clint Hall. That's how good a friend we were. And he was a good sport about it. When he got off stage, he goes, thank you guys, my name's Clint. And very, very nice. But on my way up, I was trying to explain to him my diet. I had started a new diet. How many people have heard of keto? I know it sounds like some kind of like fighting technique. It is not. It's a terrible, terrible diet that makes you starve yourself. It's high fat, medium protein, no carbohydrates. But, two, I'm a pescatarian, and when I told Cliff that, or Clint, whoever he is, he was like, "What religion is that? I haven't heard of that." And I was like, "No, sometimes I eat fish. I'm a vegetarian, but sometimes I eat fish. I'm a pesca. So I am a pesco-ketotarian, is what I am, which basically means I've stopped eating. The air sandwiches are amazing. I found out stuff about diets when you find out stuff about food. When you get on a new diet plan, like there are 2 foods on the planet that burn more calories in digestion than they have in them. One is celery, and the other one's coffee, and I hate celery. So I've been putting a whole bunch of peanut butter on my coffee. Not bad. It's not bad. But I saw a lot of you pull back when I said I was a vegetarian. And then you were like, "Oh, I don't know about that." First off, more meat for you guys. You like bacon? More bacon. When I'm at the buffet, you're like, "I'm following that guy. He's gonna have the Brussels sprout." But you know who gets at me out of all my friends is the vegans. How many people here are vegan? You know how I knew there wasn't any in here? Because you didn't run up and tell me. My vegan friends, they're like, "Danny, you still eat milk and you still have eggs." And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, that's terrible. They still have to subjugate the animals for that." And I was like, "It's just their milk. It's just their eggs. I'm not hurting the animals." And they're like, No. And then they found out I ate fish. And they had a meltdown. Thank you, sir, in the back. He's sticking up for the vegans back there. Good for you. Yeah, the vegans always come up with the same thing. They're saying, "Danny, you can't eat anything with a face." And I was like, "Well, here's a good cure for that. I have a friend who's a genetic engineer, and he could just genetically alter animals not to have faces, so you guys can eat a cheeseburger!" I am also gluten intolerant. That is not by choice. That is a thing that happened when I turned 50, and I hate it beyond belief. But every now and then, even though I'm keto, you get your cheat days, every now and then I will have a donut. Because I am a gluten for punishment. My buddy found out how much I like donuts, and so he gave me some of those donuts. You remember that? Remember when Hostess went out of business for a second? And people were paying $60 for ding dongs, and it was worth it! So he was very proud. He got me the donuts, and I was like, "Thank you," because I hunt wild donuts. And I use a donut to capture them. Oh, it gets a lot worse than that. So I went hunting some donuts one day. I went out to the woods, and I came across a village of donuts, wild donuts. And they had dug a pit, and I fell in it. They caught me in a donut hole. They started sprinkling me. My eyes got all glazed. But I had some bear claws, so I climbed down. And I had to eat my way through the village. And there were dozens of them. I finally made it out, and I celebrated at a maple bar. Those donuts can be crueler. That's just... That was for the older ones in the audience. I talk a lot about food because I don't eat it. On my diet, I'm a big fan of cheese. I love cheese. Somebody else, one other person loves cheese. Blue cheese is the saddest of all cheese. Swiss cheese is the most Christian.
It's holy cheese.
Thank you. I like how that went around. Like people, this is a very giving congregation. They're like, you didn't get it? That's all. Come on, pass the plate and pass the punchline. Work our way around. Brie is the most valley girl of all cheeses. It's like, oh my goodness, Tiffany, I'm cheese. In a world of cheese, the savior would be Jesus Christ. Unless you're from the Orient, then it would be Gouda. In a world of cheese, when cheese takes pictures of other cheese, it says, say people. These are cheesy jokes, people. I've got corny jokes coming up later, so spoiler alert. When cheese plays games with other cheese, it says, you're cheesing. Oh, we gotta take a break. I need to go take a cheese whiz. Oh, I just stuffed my Cheetos. Ah, easy cheese, easy. That was the first round of cheese jokes. You guys are kind of safe. We got donuts covered, food, and then I got the cheese covered. Done and done. What? You eat beef, sir? I feel like I'm in an old Wendy's commercial. Where's the beef? I gotta say, Pastor Mike, thank you for having us out, first off. And two, this guy must be one of the most, I've never seen you give a sermon, sir. But I know you must be one of the most dynamic and emotionally driven speakers I've ever met. Because on the back of each and every one of the pews is a box of Kleenex. Kind of masochistic on his point, I think. He's like, I am not letting them leave until everybody has cried at least a gallon of water. Does he get you? Does he? Yeah. She's smiling like, yeah, we cried really bad. It's the greatest thing ever. Oh, this is throwing me off. I love it. No, you're great. No, keep it up, because I might need to steal some of your jokes. No comment. I know it does not look like it. He was talking about his ancestry. I have a very unique ancestry as well. I am Mexican. And the Mexicans are looking at me and they're thinking, you're also a liar. I will tell you how that happened. Guys, I went through a divorce about 8 years ago, and I lived in an old place called the Central Valley, and I had to move roommates into my house. And I am an adopted Mexican, I should let you know that. My name is actually Danny Minch. It's true. They welcomed me into their home because I had to move roommates in my house, and they came 100% to move into my house. And I didn't know how my life was going to change when they moved in. Do you know they spontaneously barbecued? It was 3 o'clock in the morning, I thought my house was on fire, I come running down the hall going, what's going on? They're like, we just bought tri-tip, I say, what you think? They actually don't talk like that. They talk a lot like me, but if you see a guy dressed like this use the word essay without an accent, you're thinking thesis paper. So I have to put the accent in. Then they said, Danny, now that we've moved in, okay, these guys barbecue so much. I went to the bathroom the other day. Over the potpourri candle was a grill. And a chicken wing sitting right on top. Then they said, Danny, now that we moved in, can we please have a party? And I said, mi casa is su casa. Because that's the only thing I learned on Rosetta Stone. I got the free version. I'm a broke comedian. And then they said, can we have some family over? And I said, sure. Yeah, I know now. For the rest of you non-Mexicans, not like me, I am going to do some translation and fill you in on some things. Did you know every Mexican in California is related? All of a sudden my house was filled with Ninos and Tinos and Abuelitas and cousins and cousins and cousins and cousins and cousins and cousins. And there were DJs in every corner of my house. There was a bounce house out front, just blew up. I don't know where it came from. These guys are adult beverages locusts. I spent $500 on that stuff as I off to the next family barbecue. But there was this one relative there, and you remember him, sir. You were at the party. Yeah. I'll give him this much. Your cousin wore his best pressed wife beater to the occasion. And he had tattoos of spider webs going up his arms. Yeah, you know who it is, Tito. He screamed out Tito. And he had a teardrop in the corner of his eye, which turns out to be a really bad thing. And the rest of the family's holding him back. And he's just looking at me like, and I'm just like, what's going on? Finally busts through, he walks up to me and goes, hey. That's it. He was right there next to the conversation. It was amazing. I don't like white people. And I did that. He goes, but my abuelitas tell me you take good care of my Tito. So from here on out, we've adopted you into the family. You are now a Mexican. Side note to that, now that I'm a Mexican, you can catch me doing a car wash every other weekend for a relative that's passed away. And now I'm a Raider fan. Oh, Dallas fans are just Raider fans that gave up. I guess I should say San Francisco fan around here, the Niners. Or, no, I guess not. But they invited me to something that I'd never been to, and it's called the Mexican Mall. Sir, have you ever been to the Mexican Mall? I'm going to do some translations for the rest of this part because I am now a certified Mexican. It's called the Jamate. The rest of you would call it the flea market. This is where they get everything. Their DVDs, their CDs, their livestock, their produce. Oddly enough, they're medical and they're dental at the Ramate. But they introduced me to something that I could never repay them for. And it was served by a culinary maestro on a bicycle with a square box on the front. And it was called elotes. And somebody knows what it is. I'll translate for the rest of you. Elotes is corn. But not the way Mexicans fix it. You guys are the only people that can take a 35-calorie ear of corn and turn it into a 15,000-calorie dinner. They dip it in butter. They put goat cheese on it. They put this red pepper pico de gallo. I didn't even know what that was. I thought that's how a Mexican woman cooked her husband. I pico de gallo. I like it, Daddy. I pico de gallo. Then they smear it all in mayonnaise. Oh, some of you are groaning. This is the best corn you will ever eat. I used to say corn was my digestive friend, You don't buy corn, you just rent it. Oh, there it is. Now it just sits in my stomach like a brick. Guys, I used to be in the Corn Army. I was in the military. Yeah, I was a colonel. They weren't very good fighters, but they took orders well because they were all ears. Some were kind of husky. Blue corn is the saddest of all. I was also in agriculture living in the Central Valley. I used to raise candy corn to feed my candy chickens, my poops. Then they would lay Cadbury eggs. I was thank you. That's what you want to hear. Like, not riveting all claws and laughter. You just want to hear, that's cute. It was tough work. I once got mauled by a gummy bear. Took a big hunk out of me. The medical bill cost me $100 grand. Fortunately, I just got a king-size payday. I was expecting a few more Snickers out of that. Like Cliff said, I toured nationally. He did mention that I went down to El Paso, Texas for Bliss. Let's give it up for the troops there. And Cliff also travels nationally as well doing this and his public speaking. And you get a lot of weird things. I am from what you would call an armpit. When I go home to the armpit, which is called Fresno. It's hot, it's sweaty, and it smells kind of weird. No matter what they do to it. But that's where I call home. So I came out of El Paso, and we had which is very much like the Texas of Fresno. It's El Paso and Fresno are very, very similar. But we had a layover in Denver. And when we were in Denver, we picked up 2 Tibetan monks, which I sat right next to on the plane. By the way, if you ever get to sit by Tibetan monks on a plane, one of the greatest things in the world. Yeah, they're so quiet. Thank you. Even their baby was quiet, which turned out not to be a baby. It was just a small Tibetan monk. And they got off the plane in Fresno off on the way over to Denver, and it was in the middle of summer. We had our longest heat spell ever this year. It was like 3 months of over 100-degree weather in a row. So, congratulations living here. Smart move. And they got off, and I was expecting it. I got the wave of heat as I walked out of the airport, and I was like, oh, I'm in the armpit. And then they walked out, the one Tibetan monk sat down on the ground, he poured lighter fluid on himself, and then he lit himself on fire. And I looked at his friend and I was like, what is he protesting? He's like, protesting? He's trying to cool down. It is hot here. I love superheroes. I have named 3 of my 4 children after either superheroes or supervillains. The one guy. And that's the guy I expected to clap. Nerds unite, sir! My oldest boy is named Eric, after Magneto. My next oldest boy is named Logan, after Wolverine. And my youngest son is just named Bane. That's it, just Bane. And he's my littlest guy, too. He's got a lot to live up to. But my buddy asked me, he said, Danny, now that we live in this society where there's medical advances and technological advances, gene splicing, why don't we have superheroes in our society like you see in the movies? And I was like, maybe we do. Maybe they just have jobs like the rest of us. Like Storm from the X-Men, she's a reporter for the Weather Network, highest rated show. It's like, it's a hurricane and a tornado. You're like, how did she get all those great stories? Cyclops works for the IQ Laser Network. He's like, let me get those cataracts. Oh, sorry, dude. Wolverine's a teppanyaki chef. It's an onion. No, it's a volcano, bub. And hear me out on this one. Superman is a farm laborer. Because that's what illegal aliens do. No, you cannot awe me on that one. And I'll tell you why. Superman is Clark Kent. Clark Kent worked for Ma and Pa Kent on the farm. So that joke is 100% fictionally, historically accurate. You guys were thinking Mexicans, I was thinking Kryptonians. That is on you. That is your perception. This is so much fun. I do love touring nationally. I just got back from Winnemucca, Nevada. If you get a chance to go there, they've been there. Don't. Just stay here. I did Winners Casino, headline Winners Casino. I think you're a winner in Winnemucca if you have more than 4 teeth in your head. But I like getting back to civilization. They didn't have malls, they didn't have anything there. I like getting back to civilization. Like, we went to a mall on the way here, and there's so much to do at malls. Like, I went whale watching at my mall, at the food court. Almost got in a fight for being a slow reader. This guy said, "Why are you looking at my wife's back end?" I was like, "I'm not, I'm reading, it says Pa Inc." It's not my fault it was that wide. It took me a little longer. Actually, it just said PK, the other 2 letters were stuck inside. So I had to pull them out. The word in came out. Miriam, I love you so much. Because she wants to laugh, but she's like, nope. Anybody else see me laughing at that too? Like I said, I'm from El Paso. I got to tour El Paso, got to entertain the troops. And I think this is the greatest country in the world for one reason. This is the only nation on the globe, you can look it up, that if you're morbidly obese, you can get a handicap sticker for the car. So you can park right up front. What they need to give them is a sticker that says you have to park 10 miles from wherever you're going. Do a little jog up here. And if you didn't laugh at that joke, you need to park 10 miles. And then, and what we give them when they get in the stores, I went to the store the other day, and I tell you, they don't have to walk around. We've made it so easy for everybody on the face of the planet to do anything. I'm surprised we don't have moving sidewalks to go up to the electric buggies that are in the stores. I went to the store, I couldn't even see the buggy for the person on top of it. It was like David Blaine was making the obese people float around Walmart. I like the natural progression that is happening. You guys be very careful because I've already figured it out. But if you go back to the 1920s, back then cocaine was a headache medicine and was in Coca-Cola. It was perfectly legal, but alcohol was illegal. And then in the 1940s, alcohol was legal, cocaine was illegal. During that entire time, marijuana was illegal. Now it is legal. And it's because they found like medical benefits and they found that the other stuff has detrimental effects. They're coming for your carbs, everybody. So you better start hoarding your carbs. That's the next thing that's going to be illegal. You're going to get pulled over and they're going to be like, "Sir, is that a piece of pizza in your hand?" "Sir, could you come out and walk a straight line for a mile and a half?" Is that a box of Krispy Kreme donuts? I don't know how that got there. Those aren't mine. We're calling for backup. We're calling for backup. You guys are a ton of fun. I do feel that we should all be very charitable. Of course, you guys know that, and Pastor Mike would like you guys to be very charitable too, because he's got a lot that he needs to do, right,
Yeah.
Pastor Mike? So, but I have a very creative mind, and I have a lot of dead time to